This is the Timbuk2 Command, and it's a 32-liter pack. And I have it here in a color called Abyss, which is essentially a combination of black on the sides and a really deep navy on the front. It almost looks black probably to you. So let me show you around the pack and give you a sense of what it has to offer. So right here on the front of the pack, you can see there's a small zippered compartment, and this is great because it's fleece lined, so you can put your sunglasses or your regular glasses into there. There's sort of a hidden pocket here in the front where you can put your wallet, zippered. And we have a side pocket here for a water bottle. Nothing on this side, so there's only the one water bottle holder. And then the front compartment, it contains an organizer panel on the front. This pocket right here is what holds your sunglasses, so that's accessible through the front here. And then another pocket on the back wall here, and you can see the extent of this pocket. It's good size, also could easily fit wallet, etc. There are, in the organizer panel itself, there are 3 slots for pens or pencils, and then 3 larger slots. I think it might fit an iPhone 7 Plus. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to take a look at that. Another zippered compartment here, and this one is about the same depth as the pocket that you see here. And then there's probably about a 2-inch bottom to this space, so it's not a really thick pocket. You could easily fit a, say, a sweatshirt if you folded it properly and slid it into here. But of course, then it encroaches on the volume of the next space, which we'll go to. There are double zipper pulls on the main compartments, which is really handy, and there are these little handy rubber tags that you can easily grab onto and open up the compartments with. So just behind this into the main compartment, pretty spacious. There are no additional pockets or anything in here. This is big enough though to easily fit a couple of 3-inch notebooks, as long as you sort of clamshell them together. 3-inch 3-ring binders, I should say. Again, double zipper pull. And then the area to store your computer, it is TSA friendly, which means that it opens up entirely, although these days TSA, I don't think they allow you to even have your laptop remain inside your backpack, so you're still going to have to take it out. And if you unzip this in its entirety, you can see that in the interior we have a pocket here for a tablet. This could easily fit an iPad Pro, so a 12.9-inch tablet. And then over on this side, this is where you would put your laptop, and it very easily fits a 15-inch, if not bigger, laptop. Okay, you'll notice here in the suspension system, it's got a nice area for relief so that your backbone will go into this slot and allow for some degree of aeration through here. And mesh back here, and it's pretty stout. You can see that it actually has a good amount of rigidity, which is going to make it more comfortable for you to carry loads. And then the suspension system, nothing great here. It certainly has a sternum strap to it, which would make it a little bit more stable. It has this hook here that you use to take off your cap to your beer bottle, which I think is totally silly. Although I can use this, frankly, to attach my key fob to, so it's not entirely useless. Okay, so let me talk about the things that I like about this pack, that I don't like about this pack, and the things that are sort of indifferent to me. So, first of all, the things that I like about it. It certainly has a slim profile to it, and so it has, and in this direction as well, so it has a nice sort of professional look to it, which would make it very easy for you to have this crossover into the business world as well as use on the weekends. And as you know, that's sort of what I'm going for with the idea of a crossover day pack here. The double zippers are smart. They're in places that make a lot of sense so that you can more easily access the main compartments. That makes a lot of sense. The fact that it has structure, and it indeed does have even a flat bottom to it, which means that if you have a lot of weight in the bottom of the pack, it'll stay up on its own. Now right now it's not loaded. However, one caveat here is if I had my laptop in here and nothing else, it would fall over onto the laptop side, obviously because the laptop is so much heavier. So if you have this thing without a laptop and a lot of the weight on the bottom, it is going to be able to stand on its own. And to me, that's really an important thing, to be able to have access to a backpack that stands up. You don't have to lean it against something. You can have it sitting next to your chair. You can put it down without it falling into a wet puddle, etc. So I think being able to stand on its bottom like that is really an important thing. It does have the sunglasses pocket, which is fleece lined, and I think that's vital, especially for somebody like me who is a glasses wearer. It has a lot of different pockets for organization. It does have a handle on the very top, which makes it much easier for you to grab it and put it into the passenger side seat if you're commuting, or just to grab it when you are inside in a subway station or something like that. You don't want to have it on your back. You can walk with it, much like it's a briefcase. Although it's not the most comfortable of handles, I'll admit to that. It's just a piece of webbing. The things that I don't really love about this pack, right here, this water bottle pocket is way too shallow. So if I take my water bottle here, which is it's like a 16-ounce water bottle, typical Hydro Flask, you can see that it will fit in there, but it only will really hold a little more than half the length of the water bottle. So there's not a lot of security here. If you're running along, say you're late to class or something like this, it's very easy for you to imagine this would slide out and hit the grass. You wouldn't know it, you'd run to class. So not a great water bottle holder. I'm not quite sure why they wouldn't just go up another couple of inches. Yes, it might limit you in terms of your access to the main compartment here because the zipper may not go down as far, but to me that's a trade-off that's well worth it. The organizer panel itself, you'll note that it's actually attached to the front flap as opposed to on the back wall. And to me, that's never a good idea because it's so easy for this to, if there's weight in it, especially if you have your glasses on it, for it to flap open like this. It's much harder then to access, to slide your pens into and such. It just doesn't make any sense for me to have an organizer panel on a flap that's going to be a very mobile thing. You should always have the organizer panel on the back wall where it's not going to be moving a whole lot and you can more easily access the small pockets and access all your stuff in general. The suspension system, the fact that you sort of have to move this arm of the suspension system, okay, or I should say this shoulder strap, out of the way in order to get access to the zippers is kind of a pain to me. I would have preferred that they had designed this in such a way that perhaps you attach the suspension system to this flap, this flap here is what I'm talking about right here, so that the suspension system would just be out of the way of your access to your notebooks, your laptop, or your tablets. The flat profile, you'll see in a moment when I go to fill this thing up, because it's so flat, it's really comfortable to carry because you don't feel like you have a lot of momentum on your back as you swing around. But the problem with having something that's so skinny and flat is that it actually fills up quite quickly. Despite the fact this is rated to be a 32 liter, it actually is 32 liter because it's so much taller than most packs, but you will see that it fills up really quickly if you're putting in things like notebooks or your laptop, etc. So unless you have really tall things, I mean, keep in mind here that your typical 3-ring binder is going to go between my thumbs right there, and then you're going to have about 4 inches of space here. It would have been better in my mind to have that 4 inches maybe in width, added in width, or in the depth of the bag rather than in the height of the bag. I just don't carry a lot of things that are a good 16 inches tall. All right, so the things that I'm indifferent to. There's a side, where is it now? Here it is. You can see here there's a side handle here, and this allows you to use this as a briefcase. You can see because of its very rectangular profile, it actually kind of looks very briefcasey. And if this was a really comfortable handle, I'd actually say that that's a handy thing to do. But it's just a thin piece of webbing, and frankly, you wouldn't be able to carry this more than about 2 city blocks before it hurts your hand. So I'm not sure if this was really sort of more of an afterthought than anything else. But I don't find it to be all that handy, and they could have done a better job of this, especially if they had had a design where you could actually tuck in the shoulder straps and hide them away so that it would really look then like a briefcase. But alas, they didn't take advantage of that fully. The bottle opener, as I mentioned before, I always think that these things are kind of silly. And then I think the most useless things in my book are these silly lash straps that you have at the bottom. And they advertise that this is a place where you can put your yoga mat or a sweatshirt or something. Total joke. I mean, frankly, it doesn't make any sense for me to put it on the bottom of the pack because you would feel it bouncing against your butt when you were wearing it. And then you would have no ability to have your backpack stand up like so if you were to put it down. It makes much more sense if you're going to have these lash straps to put them on the front of the bag or even across the bag in this direction, and then you can put your yoga mat here. I just think that they did this more because it looks kind of cool, and I don't even think it looks cool, but maybe the designers thought it looked pretty cool. I don't think they're terribly useful. But I can ignore them, which is why I'm indifferent to them. So this is now a fully loaded backpack, and I will tell you that again, because of its slim profile here, you can see that I completely eclipse it. You can't see any of the backpack emerging from my sides, and so it allows you to sort of move very freely. It doesn't feel like it's whipping you around, right? And because of its length, it actually is quite comfortable against the sort of the length of your entire back there. Holds the stuff pretty well. It does feel a little bit heavy, but I mean, I have a lot of stuff that I'm keeping in here, and it is tight. I will tell you that because of all the stuff that I keep in here. But overall, it's pretty comfortable. If I use the sternum strap, it certainly stabilizes things considerably. So if I'm cycling to work or if I'm running across campus, it keeps the pack nice and stable. And as you can see here, this is what I'm talking about in terms of being able to use the bottle opener as a way to hook my key fob to. This is my ID that allows me access to all the buildings on campus. So overall, pretty comfortable, not too bad a pack.